But I notice I think the bangs are like. I'll start asking a question. Hold on. Right. I mean, I'm being right. I mean, to the extent that like where I'm checking in with you, like figure like what I want you figuring it out, like figuring something out as I'm asking. But it's not like this. Right. It's just like it's just to ask, and that may be the process. But you're banging is the like correct. Like right. I mean, I'm saying. Right, among things like a person like, discovers like when they have the time to look into it, but also like aren't you know while there's like right, I mean while there's like the market for like goose chase stuff about this thing, like I'm including stuff that's going on right now. People have like big channels and stuff. Right, I mean if you're not like like if you're not in the looking to make people who aren't looking to make money off like doing conspiracy theory like right. I mean the I mean and it was the okay we may I mean if it, what we may based on all the different things right. What did it bring to my mind that I like slightly familiar with or something with all the saying serious like that. I don't want to like, just run my mouth off. The that we've made videos about this issue of like the total loss of sovereignty over the country. Like I mean over the economy of the country. Also, you directed me to Detroit, like why everything's collapsing. But right, I mean like that book. Okay, that book um by the book by the man who's a very serious person. It's not like it's not like someone like he was Bill Clinton's teacher. Look, right, he was Bill. I mean, he was Bill Clinton's professor, and is like a very serious person. Like wrote a book called The Anglo American Establishment. That like, right, that this, but going back, it was he like he um. Well, I mean, it was. I mean, people in like there are in like a serious political movement like the LaRouche movement, for example. It was right. I mean, LaRouche refers to like the he say ever he was often based on things talking about economic sovereignty and like when this thing sort of started. The book, The Anglo American Establishment. I mean, it's about something we talked about before, but the thoroughness with which this guy Carol Quigley like explains it. Right. I mean, that feels that he even goes through the formation of the thing that the what's now an international banking network like is simply the extent. It's like the extent. It's sort of the like what used to be called the British Empire, like under new like under modern like name, and like it's we've it did like it was like Chomsky points out the principal economic enemy of the countries like repeatedly has always been Great Britain. Like right, like and those that banking network, like the reason we don't have economic sovereignty, the reason we live under like threat of capital flight, like foreign banks will start selling off their currencies. That it's actually a small network of banks. Carol Quigley's book like discusses its formation as the sort of modern incarnation of what used to be called the British Empire, which has always wanted us deindustrialized. They wanted they wanted to keep this a slave plantation. It's part of the reason Abraham Lincoln like part of the reason for the Civil War is he wanted to close the market so we could industrialize the country. Britain was opposed to that they wanted it to be a slave plantation. They wanted us to keep slavery. The financial interest there. Right. I mean, all these people who go on like sort of goose chases about like the John F. Kennedy assassination that are like they're making money off of, or in some cases like the one sort of prominent person, like it's like he's basically kind of like con artist who like started as more like a comedian, which is this guy Alex Jones. This whole channel, he's doing a whole thing, making another guy making a lot of money, like all kinds of paranoid nonsense about the Kennedy assassination. But the fact is, like someone like LaRouche said, we're always under, including like wars with them, like the constant attempt of like what used to be called the British Empire to take away our economic sovereignty, prevent us from industrializing, but now threat of capital flights causing us to like go backwards, like deindustrializing the country and stopping us from some reason the money has no value. It's one reason like production shut down, a new wave of production. That's the next round of like quote industrialization, but it's not the same industrialization to be things that are. It's why we're not getting to where's the green technology, like where's the new clean energy, like everything seems shut down and things are, for most people are collapsing. The whole country's in debt, like that's taking place from like it's sort of headquartered in London and as that network of banks. Idea was if one were to look into, I mean, it's not called a conspiracy theory. Like look into something like that, like the assassination of a president, like in that context, it becomes not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's like something else. But I'm saying, right, I mean, that's sort of what you're like directing me to, and you keep banging when I think like, and as if you're just saying correct. But that is correct. It's just everyone's mired in like book after book. People making a fortune off this, and now someone talking on college campuses who just like paranoid things. But that's that's that for now. But like, right, I think that's sort of where you're directing me, which is great. That's something like really that relates to the earlier topics about our economic sovereignty. So just go ahead.